Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of What the Haul. It's not really a new trend. I wanted to talk about these tomato scented candles. Let's start the intro. This is What the Haul. I'm Mohammed, and we talk about all sorts of beauty-related topics. First of all, how are you? Amazing. Love to hear it. I'm recording this at the time when we're having this discourse on the internet about the TikTok ban. If TikTok is gone, am I suddenly going to start using Instagram more? I'm kind of over Instagram. It's just a research tool. I like the app a lot. I don't use it very often, but when I am on there, I have a much more positive experience than what I do on Instagram. This is one of these thoughts that I could belabor and really get into the weeds about. This is where I think to myself, I need to go back to making audio content because I was posting these videos on here and I was calling them What the Haul sidebars, but these videos, they are time consuming. There's a lot of effort that goes into them, which I don't begrudge. I like making these videos and I love seeing the output. A very successful creator, Janae Naylor, she posted a video doing like a Q&A over the weekend, and at the very end of the video, she made a comment about how when you're producing content, you are your own target audience. I am making my own lane and doing my own thing, and that's why I do the preamble, right? It's not just enough that we have these beauty conversations. We're multifaceted people. We have varied interests. So I like to just interject this stuff at the top, exercise my thoughts. Tomato candles. It's a trendy thing, and I just discovered this Reddit community of luxury candle users. Shout out to them. I have my laptop here, so we're going to pull up this article from Reddit. I currently have another 3-wick Diptyque Feu de Bois. That is like my go-to seasonal candle for this time of year. Fortunately, I found myself on the Simon's website last month, and I scored this
CARRIERE
candle, and this is their tomato scent. If you see the branding, it's like this sort of encyclopedia, botany, art style on the label. It has the Latin at the top. I found this really useful article here. It's from 3 years ago. That's probably around the time that this conversation about tomato candles started taking off. And this person, they're called Polyphila, has really broken it down and given some really useful notes. And I'm going to add my 2 cents as we go along. In the first post, they say, I recently amassed 3 tomato scented candles on a whim. The first one is the Jo Malone Green Tomato and Vine, which is 300 Gs. I love this so much. It has a fantastic cold throw and hot throw. To my nose, it has some surprising floral notes as well as some fresh and green notes that I can't put my finger on. It's probably the most complex of the 3 and least tomato of the bunch, but I love how it smells. I do find that I have to tinfoil it as it's cold in my house and the single wick has trouble forming a pool of wax. There's a couple of interesting things to throw in there. This phrase, cold throw, hot throw. The cold throw is how much fragrance emits when you pick it up off the table, off the shelf, and then hot throw meaning how well does the fragrance travel when it's lit. And so what this person is saying that the Jo Malone is good in all circumstances. I'm not a Jo Malone person, but they're giving this a really good rating. I liked the look of the old format when it came in the glass with the black label versus the concrete, and it also comes in a diffuser. The next review is for the
CARRIERE FRERES.
This is 185 G. So in this person's review, they said, the second of my purchases. This one smells to me like a caprese salad with a bit of basil and salt. Absolutely, I definitely smell the basil. It's more of a ripe tomato scent, and I get more of a tomato fruit smell from it. It's a very straightforward scent, and I think I like the hot throw better than the cold. Aside, I also bought the
CARRIERE
rosemary candle, and I love that one. Okay, interesting. Now, rosemary wouldn't be a go-to for me. The brand does have a number of different scents. There was one that was gingembre. That kind of caught my eye. I smell the basil more than anything. I can't really imagine what tomato smells like. I can taste it. I can't really smell it without smelling the basil that's in these candles. 1884 is what the label says. So it's one of these Victorian brands. I started thinking about these really ancient brands like Bully, Santa Maria Novella, and Sieur Trudon. And then come to find out that this brand of candles is manufactured in the same factories as Sieur Trudon. Similar quality of product, a more reasonable price point than Trudon. This brand is pretty niche. I don't know if they're going to bring this back onto the Simon's websites for my fellow Canadians. I feel like if it was discounted that heavily, it may be on its way out. Their DTC website, it does have different prices in Canadian dollars and all the other markets, but it very clearly says it only ships to the the US. I'm finding it in websites or places which stock homewares, sort of one-off boutiques that have cool modern furniture, etc., etc. Every time I do burn it, I'm going for at least 2 to 3 hours. It's pooling and there's still wax that collects on the sides. So I'm gonna see what this hack is with the aluminum foil, and I'll circle back to that at a later time. Don't know if I mentioned this in my diptyque video. Rather than ordering a wick trimmer, which absolutely is useful, and if you are a candle person, by all means get whatever floats your boat. You know, at certain points it's very tricky using a full pair of scissors to try to trim the wick, but if you use a pair of toenail clippers, you can just kind of nice and evenly, and that's supposed to help with the clean burn. And finally, the LOEWE tomato leaves medium size 2 wick, 610G. I bought this on a whim because I was a sucker for the gorgeous red packaging. Obviously the LOEWE vessels are stunning. I haven't burnt this one yet, and so can only comment on the cold throw. Unlike
CARRIÉRE FRERES,
I catch the tomato fruit scent. This one smells like a true tomato leaf scent. It smells exactly like when I prune my tomato plants in the garden. I really look forward to burning this one when it's warmer and I go through other candles. Further to that, they did do an update on the LOEWE in which they said, I do find the throw is on the light side. However, I also burned this in an open concept living room, and I don't mind it personally, as sometimes particular scents and certain candles with stronger throws give me a headache, e.g. Diptyque Bay and Rose, sadly, but I'm sitting close to it so I can catch wafts of the cold throw, and that surprises me sometimes. Everyone's gonna have a different experience with candles depending on the size of the space and the setup of your home. If you have this candle in a bathroom or like maybe a more congested or crowded sort of kitchen, it might have more of an impact. With the LOEWE candles, they say that everything is hand poured. They make it sound as if it's like an artisanal process versus an assembly line. No two candles or batches of candles may smell identical even if you continue to repurchase them. But I also want to flag up some other brands of candles that have recently come to my attention that I think are also worth seeking out. MALIN GOETZ also has a tomato scented candle. In the box, it smelled really nice as well, very pleasant. A completely different sort of family of fragrances. APC has a series of candles. APC, if you're not familiar, it's the sort of contemporary brand. They're known for their denim. In particular, their jasmine candle, phenomenal, because jasmine is one of my favorite diptyque candles. I didn't know this, but the diptyque deodorizing candle that comes in the brown glass, not tomato, but definitely a strong basil element to it. So that kind of is in the same sort of wheelhouse as this. As I'm smelling this, I'm reminded of the Renee Federer Naturia. I used to have really dry, coily hair, and even I would use that shampoo and it was really mild. More than anything was the smell of that shampoo. Ooh, it was so good. Very close to what this fragrance profile is. If you're going to somebody's house, you don't know what to bring, the Crate and Barrel tomato candle, equally as good as this one. Let me know what your favorite candles are. Have you tried any of these tomato ones? Subscribe if you made it this far. Comment, share, do all the things. Thank you for listening. Thank me for speaking, and I will catch you in the next one. Adios.